cocaine smugglers, cold-blooded killers, and the man that says he wrote Raiders of the Lost Ark. Welcome back to the Junkman, everybody. It's me, the Junkman, coming back at you with another video. And this time we're going back into the courtroom to tell you about a lawsuit, this time involving Raiders of the Lost Ark. Now, whenever something's a big hit, you know somebody's going to try to sue and make money off of it that didn't have anything to do with it. But in this case, maybe the person did. A person, I'll leave his name out for this video, says that he wrote Raiders of the Lost Ark. He was so convinced of that he sued Paramount Pictures, Lucasfilm, Steven Spielberg, of course George Lucas, and I guess whoever else he could. I'm not probably the producers, but he sued everybody he could and pulled him into court to claim he wrote Raiders of the Lost Ark, or at least came up with the concept. Did the courts agree with him? Well, we'll see about that. Although Indiana Jones released in the summer of 1981, the lawsuit didn't hit the courts until July 22nd, 1985. And this action against copyright infringement under Title 17 of the United States Code, the plaintiff, an archaeologist screenwriter, says that he came up with the movie Raiders of the Lost Ark, and it infringes on his copyright of his screenplay, Black Rainbow. So you can see this archaeologist screenwriter already had a movie written. Not made, just written a screenplay of a movie called Black Rainbow. I've never seen a Black Rainbow, to be honest with you. I've never seen a Black Rainbow, so I'm curious. So is this Black Rainbow really Raiders of the Lost Ark? Did Lucas and Spielberg and Lawrence Kasdan, did they see this script and just rip it off and turn it into Indiana Jones by just tweaking a few things? Well, what if we told you the story of Black Rainbow? Then maybe you can decide. You don't need a grand jury to tell you. So, although I don't really read really good and it's really long, so if you're going to sit here and watch me read this, you're going to wish you didn't. So, I'm going to have my computer read it for me. I hope the voice is okay, but trust me, it's better than you hearing me try to read this, because let's look at the story of Black Rainbow.
Plaintiff screenplay, Black Rainbow, is the story of archaeologist Zeke Bernero's expedition to the Andes of Peru in search of pre-Columbian gold artifacts. In the preamble to Rainbow, Zeke is introduced as a legitimate archaeologist who became a renegade treasure hunter, or huaquero. In the opening scene, Zeke is informed by his former lover, Michael Colby, a female museum curator, that Zeke has been replaced as head of an expedition to Peru. Undaunted, Zeke finances his own bootleg expedition with the help of a cocaine dealer who fronts Zeke the money in exchange for Zeke's promise to smuggle cocaine from Peru. Upon arrival in Peru, Zeke and his sidekick, Justo, a Peruvian Indian native, pause to taste the pleasures of cocaine and prostitutes. After assembling an entourage of Indian natives and taking as a partner Alvaro, who supplied horses and pack animals, the party then proceeds on the expedition. Along the way, Tumba, Alvaro's servant mistress, gives birth to a son. Shortly thereafter, Alvaro offers Tumba services as a prostitute in return for the other Indians' share of the treasure. Zeke seeks to prevent the exploitation by pacifying the natives with cocaine. Ironically, Tumba, who is understandably grateful for his act of humanity, rewards Zeke with sexual favors. Zeke seeks to prevent this exploitation by pacifying the natives with cocaine. Ironically, Tumba, who is understandably grateful for his act of humanity, rewards Zeke with sexual favors. Later, an old Indian mystic tells Zeke he can locate the cave with great anaconda snakes and hopefully the treasure by observing the reflection of the sun off the side of the cliffs. Upon locating the cave, the party rappels down the side of the cliffs, fights off the anacondas with Molotov cocktails, and uncovers the treasure in the burial site inside the cave. As they are about to begin their trek back from the clifftop, the expedition is confronted by the script's principal antagonist, von Stroessner, and his band of thieves. As it turns out, von Stroessner was hired by Michael Colby and the museum to follow Zeke and liberate him of his newfound treasure. A fight ensues in which Zeke and von Stroessner are wounded and several Indians are killed. Zeke ultimately shoots von Stroessner in cold blood. The expedition party continues the journey back, only to be confronted by the Peruvian National Guard. In ensuing gunfire, Justo is mortally wounded, the remaining Indians are killed, and Zeke and Alvaro are forced to flee through the dense jungle, carrying what little gold they can carry. Zeke ultimately shoots Alvaro in a quarrel over the remaining treasure, and the story ends with Zeke hiking back to civilization.
So does that sound like anything like Raiders of the Lost Ark? I don't think so, and neither did Lucasfilm and Paramount Pictures, who argued it was nothing like Raiders of the Lost Ark. You can't say it's a copyright issue because they're both archaeologists. You can't copyright that. According to Lucasfilm and Paramount's lawyers, There was just two totally different tones with this movie. Black Rainbow was about an archaeologist, cold-blooded murders, the cocaine trade, and even overtly sexual themes. And they said their movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark, wasn't none of those things. It was a tongue-in-cheek, action-packed adventure. A Jack Armstrong all-American story. Jack Armstrong. I wonder if he's any relation to Stretch Armstrong. And then, of course, the one suing, his lawyers, fought back, saying that his character is just Indiana Jones. They just swapped the name. He added that they're both male characters, and they're both archaeologists. And that is true, they both are. And the lawyers for Lucasfilm and Paramount Pictures agreed. But they said there's nothing like Indiana Jones. In fact, in Black Rainbow, the hero betrays the museum he's working for. Indiana Jones would never do that. He then sets out in his own adventure, not working with the museum or the school, and ends up killing his rival in cold blood. Again, something they argue Indiana Jones just wouldn't do. They added that Indiana Jones was larger than life, an adventurer, who was loyal, trusty, and lives the American way. Yep, I guess he's the Superman of archaeology. What about the bad guy of the film? Well, one, of course, in Raiders is a Nazi, or working for the Nazis. He is a Frenchman. But in the other one, in the Black Rainbow, he's not a Nazi. He's not even working with the Nazis. So I don't see how they're saying there's a similarity, but apparently the one suing Paramount and Lucasfilm thought there was. But they did argue that he could have had ties with the Nazi party. Could have. If you can sue on a could have, everybody could be sued for copyright infringement. What about Marion from Raiders of the Lost Ark and the woman of the Black Rainbow, who is a pregnant Indian mistress? Their words, not mine. They said it's just like Marion, again with the name change. Just like Marion, female, and had a sexual relationship with the hero of the story. That's really stretching, really stretching. Again, Paramount and Lucasfilm argued, sure, they're both female, sure, they had a sexual history with the hero, but that's where the similarities end, and you can't copyright something like that. But it looks like maybe they finally got Lucasfilm and Paramount with this one here. It seems in Black Rainbow, the hero goes into a cave, finds a bunch of snakes, and uses Molotov cocktails to scare the snakes away. They said that's clearly from Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's clear they stole that. Indiana Jones is scared of snakes. He goes into the map room, or I guess the soldiers where they keep the Ark, and they use fire to fear off the snakes. Again, the lawyers for Paramount and Lucasfilm was probably baffled by this and didn't really have anything to say. They'd say, yeah, it's similar, but it doesn't mean we just copied his script. But let's be honest, Lawrence Kasdan, they didn't read this Black Rainbow. I'm already picking sides, ain't I? So let's get on to how this court trial ended. The judge ruled that he did enjoy both the scripts, but he felt they were just similar, but nothing that invaded copyright issues. Seems the judge just threw the case out. Seems the guy was just wasting everybody's time. I mean, I don't see how this got this far. I don't see how this even got to a trial. As the judge made it clear, it just wastes everybody's time to bring a jury in and everything. He can say all this right now. It's not the same. He's saying you can't sue for copyright infringement on stuff that is similar. A man goes into a cave. You can't say, well, my script, a man goes into a cave. A man sees snakes. You can't say, well, in my script, he saw a snake. No, it has to be something more than that. It has to be a blatant where it's the same story and not just the same person with the same type of work. But I'm curious, did you even know about this story? I bet you not. I bet a lot of people didn't even know about the time Paramount Pictures, Lucasfilm, and Raiders of the Lost Ark got sued for copyright infringement. Do you think the judge was right that they threw this case out? Or do you think there was some merit? Thinking, this Black Rainbow, it does sound a lot like Raiders of the Lost Ark. If you think it does, let me know in the comments below. I could use a good laugh. Well, I want to thank you for watching. As always, thumbs up if you like my content. Subscribe to the channel. Talk again soon.
Hey, Junkman channel popping though.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.